As you just heard the song Poda B'Sholem Nafshi Mikrov Li Ki B'Rabim Hoyu Imodi. These are verses in chapter Psalm 55, Nun Hey, verse 19. Poda B'Sholem Nafshi, He redeemed my soul in peace. Mikrov Li, from battles against me. Ki B'Rabim Hoyu Imodi, because of the many who were with me. That's the traditional song, Chassidic traditional song, I should say, that is sung at the Chag HaGeula, Yutes Kislev, when the Alter Rebbe came out of prison. And obviously today, the 12th day of the month of Tammuz, where the previous Rebbe, 1927, was freed from his ordeal. So I invite you to say chapter Nun Hey, 55 of Tehillim in honor of this occasion. Let us all give tzedakah together with our prayer for the hostages, for the soldiers in Rabbi Shalom. We lost another 5 soldiers. It's tragic. Enough. We need Geula. So let me give you a little bit of a background of Yud Beis Tammuz, the 12th day of the month of Tammuz. In 1927, on the 15th day of the month of Sivan, the previous Rebbe was taken into custody, and then he was liberated, as I just mentioned, on the 12th and the 13th. Why do we have 12 and 13? Because on the 12th he was notified, but the official office that was supposed to give the stamp document was closed, so he had to wait for the next day. When he was arrested, leaders amongst the whole world came to the Rebbe's defense and exerted tremendous pressure on the communist regime. And eventually his original death sentence was commuted to first 10 years harsh labor in Siberia, then to 3 years in exile, and then, as we just said, he was about a month after his arrest completely free. The name of Rabbi Eli Chaim Althaus. He was one of the most trusted Chassidim, and he recorded in details the background of those difficult moments. And he writes the following: those of us who felt closest to the Rebbe were already fearful from the beginning of that year of 1927, the Hebrew calendar 5687, Tafresh Pei Zayin. We had this ominous hint already on Rosh Hashanah, because when the previous Rebbe recited the verses, the introductory verses to the sounding of the shofar, where it says, Min ha-meitzar karosi yudkei, from the depth, from the straits of distress, I called to God. And then suddenly we heard the Rebbe giving a bitter, loud sigh. In Yiddish, Oi Gewalt. And he continued with Al Yashkuni Zedim, let the wicked not oppress me. We heard it, and we sensed there is something not right. During Simchas Torah, usually a very happy moment, unfortunately was pervaded by a spirit of bitterness. Throughout the entire winter, heavy clouds hung over him, over the Rebbe, and over all his Chassidim. Not a single day passed without an obstacle planted by the malicious band known as the Bund, or the Efsektia, standing in the way of the Rebbe's superhuman single-handed efforts to keep the flame of Judaism alive in these darkest of times. They demolished synagogues, they demolished mitzvahs, they demolished yeshivas, they demolished schools, and the Rebbe single-handedly rebuilt mitzvahs, chadorim, yeshivas, schools of learning, the structure of Judaism. When they realized that they're failing, they decided simply that they have to remove him, God forbid. That winter, in the first month of Adar, he took a train to Moscow to deal with matters of public concern. Chaim Althaus writes, I was at the station to see. The Rebbe said, add an additional chapter of Tehillim for me, knowing that it is a difficult time. Rabbi Altois writes, I shuddered at the sound of these words. Miraculously, as we just said. Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz, he was freed completely. And he rebuilt Judaism all over the world. Because after that, he had to leave Russia, came to America, and America was the place where he said, is nicht anders. It's no different than Europe, and we must and can preserve Judaism here. So may we hope that we won't just celebrate a Chag HaGeula of the past, but a Chag HaGeula of Mashiach now.